I'm Marshall Johnson, and this is Central Flyway News. Tonight on Central Flyway News, we're going to visit conservation on location. First up, Emily Wilker brings us a gripping story with Cody the cow. Emily?
All right, thanks so much. Mr. Cow, what can you tell me about these reports that indicate that the pastures at Audubon Conservation Ranches are great places to raise cattle?
Well, first off, Emily, let me just say thanks for having me. It's not too often people take stock in what livestock have to say. To be clear, those reports are completely true. Speaking for the rest of the herd, we couldn't be happier than to spend our days on the lush meadows of our ACR ranches. People think there isn't much to being a cow, but wandering around a pasture filled with native grasses and wildflowers during Dakota summer is a pretty sweet gig.
You mentioned native grasses and wildflowers. Why is that important?
Well, how else do you think I got this glossy coat and rotund figure? Having a diverse smorgasbord of native plants means I've got something tasty to eat all year long. Most of these native plants have roots that grow deep into the soil, which helps soak up rain so it stays on the ranch. This means more grass for me, especially during a drought. All these wildflowers mean there are lots, and I mean lots of bugs out here. The only thing that grows faster out here than me are the chicks eating all those bugs. Not exactly my idea of a great meal, but you can't argue with the results. Oh, and the butterflies. I love butterflies. I think of them as just birds that move at a cow's pace.
Besides creating more habitat for grassland birds, what are the benefits to a cow grazing around all of those native grasses and flowers?
Oh, well, definitely the food. The food is the best. Have you ever had Western wheatgrass?
I can't say that I have.
Oh, you've got to try it. Here you go. Blah. Always keep some handy in one of my extra stomachs, just in case I have a snack attack, which is often, because I'm a cow.
No thanks.
Well, suit yourself. Oh, and new blue stem shoots after a prairie fire. Mamma mia! And the best part is that the kitchen is always open. The Dakota diner, as I like to call it. See what I did there?
Yes. So the Audubon Conservation Ranching Program could be considered a success.
Oh, I'd say so. In just a couple of years since the program started, there are almost 92,000 acres of delicious certified grassland spread across North and South Dakota. And, well, I'm not super excited about this part. There are a network of retailers across the Dakotas that carry Audubon conservation beef, which means consumers can directly help out the birds and other prairie wildlife with their purchasing power.
Well, thank you. I've also heard something about the Prairie Management Toolbox program. What can you tell me about that, and is it the same thing as Audubon Conservation Ranching?
Yeah, I can probably field that one. Get it? We're in a field. The Toolbox Project and the Audubon Conservation Ranching are part of their Working Lands initiative. The Toolbox Project works with ranchers to help manage prairies by helping out with grazing management and infrastructure such as new water sources, which we are particularly fond of on blistering summer days, and fences to make sure that the prairie gets plenty of rest. The Toolbox Project will also remove woody invasive species that will crowd out all these delicious grasses. There's also the option to help replant unproductive farmland back to delicious native grasses and forbs. Yum, yum.
Like Western wheatgrass. I'm assuming the cows on Toolbox lands are happy then. How about participating ranchers? Would you say they're satisfied with the program so far?
Let's just say all the trucks my rancher drives have paper license plates, if you know what I mean. One rancher up in Grand Forks County said he loves that Audubon Dakota helped create a plan of action that both benefits the rancher and promotes healthy wildlife habitat. In fact, I've heard the Toolbox program has been successful enough that it might be expanding to new areas of North Dakota soon. Okay, you're cutting into my grazing time, so one last question. This prime rib isn't going to marble itself.
The last quick question, I'll make it fast. How is Audubon Dakota related to Giving Hearts Day 2019?
Great question. With this year's theme of #CountMe, Audubon Dakota is highlighting all of the numbers that will help them conserve birds and bird habitats. Many of our favorite prairie birds and waterfowl flock up in great numbers during migration and are the reason for their passion. The successful Audubon conservation ranching and toolbox programs rely on a big number of landowners, acres, and economically important animals, such as myself, to help keep grasslands on the land for birds. A lot of money is being raised from previous Giving Hearts Day events to go towards education outreach, including helping children understand what ranching can do for birds in mind. Thank you all and have a good night. Moo!
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Cow. All right, I'm going to throw it over to you. Jeff Kolpak is here with sports.